Day 2 of the Baltimore Ravens mandatory minicamp practices are officially in the books. And with that being said, we have more news, notes, highlights, observations from yet another practice here in Baltimore. And in this video, we're going to break down pretty much everything you need to know about day 2, a couple of guys who looked insanely productive and are continuing to work their way up the depth chart, but also we're going to break down what to expect on day 3, which is today. Don't worry, that video will drop tomorrow as well. So make sure you guys do me a favor before we jump into all the news and notes from today. Go follow all of the Ravens media members on Twitter, man. I want to give a major shout out to them because without them, these videos aren't really possible. So go give them a follow. You're going to see their ads to the top left of your screen because they will be posting non-stop Ravens practice highlights from all of training camp and mandatory minicamp as well. So go do yourself a favor and follow them. With that being said, let's get right into the news and notes from day 2 of practice. Now, one of the biggest mini notes, we're going to say these are, not huge news or huge notes, but these are, something to take account for, right? Marlon Humphrey was off working to the side, did not participate in team drills yesterday. So obviously, when you talk about first team defense in 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s, just know that Marlon Humphrey was not playing today, or practicing today, I should say. Deontay Hardy was still out, praying for him and everything going on with his family right now. I hope everything turns out well. So yeah, Deontay Hardy, again, he gets an excused absence today, will not be fined for this. Also, the guys not practicing, Kyle Hamilton, Keaton Mitchell, Adisa Isaac as well. All those guys were either not at practice or at practice, just not participating. Now let's get into some of, the more relevant news of practice. Now the first thing was, Lamar Jackson had a massive bounce back day. Now day 1 was really tough. A lot of turnovers, a lot of sacks, a lot of incompletions for Lamar Jackson and this offense. But day 2, which was yesterday, absolutely improved. I mean, every single which way you looked, Lamar Jackson was making either a good throw, a good read, getting extra yards. I mean, the man was having an unbelievable practice, and that's just what you want to see, right? You never want to see one side of the ball dominate the other for too long, because then you kind of seeing the writing on the wall when it comes to the regular season, right? If your defense is dominating your offense every single day of practice, then you most likely know that either 1, you have a really good defense, or 2, your offense is going to be really, really bad. So the fact that they're going back and forth is actually one of the best signs that you could really have when it comes to mandatory minicamp. Now, I will say that Lamar Jackson did have one bad throw during practice. He threw an interception to Bump Cooper Jr., who is someone who is really starting to make a name for himself in this Baltimore Ravens, locker room. Obviously, a UDFA corner, trying to get some more nickel spot or nickel roll, but so far so good for him. A lot of guys have looked good for the Ravens in the secondary. Nate Wiggins, Brandon Stevens, Marlon Humphrey, Arthur Morlett had a big day on day 1. And then Bump Cooper Jr. has a big day yesterday. So definitely excited to see him continue to develop, get better and better each and every single day as a UDFA. Now, in terms of if he's going to make the team, I don't really know, but we'll see. Comment down below what you guys think about Bump Cooper Jr. And with that being said, do me a favor before we finish off this video. We still have a lot of, or a decent amount of notes to cover right now. But before we get into that, hit the like button just so we can get this video to more Ravens fans. More importantly, subscribe to the channel if you're new. It's free. It doesn't cost anything. And we will be covering the Ravens for the rest of the offseason. Now, you may be asking, what exactly does that entail? Well, not only the rest of mandatory minicamp, training camp, preseason, and regular season as well, guys. It is literally free. Doesn't cost anything to join the family, and we'll be covering the Ravens through it all. Lastly, make sure you guys check out my Twitch. We will be live streaming, breaking down some film, watching some games for the Ravens on my Twitch. It is Matty Dubs with 3 S's, or you can find the link in the description if you're interested in that. But let's get into the big news, right? 2 guys who stood out offensively in my books were, Isaiah Likely and Tylan Wallace. Now, listen, Isaiah Likely will have a role in this team. Mark Andrews is getting back fully healthy, but Likely is a dynamic tight end who is going to get a lot of burn with the first team offense. I mean, day 1 made an outlandish one-handed grab, and then day 2 had another one. So this dude is making big-time plays and big-time moments and just, kind of shocking the world really quick, right? Now, when it comes to likely, you just see him connecting with Lamar Jackson on kind of a different level. You could tell they put in some work this offseason, and that chemistry is, I would say, legit for the most part. So keep an eye on, Isaiah Likely going into training camp. I expect him to have a massive role in this offense, and I think it's only going to get bigger and better from here. Now, another guy that's looked really good, Tylan Wallace. Now, for him, I don't really know what the role will be, but you could start seeing him, really, really build some chemistry with Lamar as well. I feel like he's probably the biggest mover from day 1 of minicamp to day 2. I mean, sticky hands, great route running, creating separation, getting open, and, the most important thing, coming down with the football, making sure that when you have a 50-50 ball, making sure that you have a good shot of getting that catch. And, so far in minicamp, he's done that, and especially in day 2. The man probably had the best day out of anybody. Tylan Wallace, we don't really know what his role will be, but he was definitely the biggest mover from day 2, making all the catches in practice that you'd want him to make. As for the role, you have Nelson Aguilar, you have Rashad Bateman, you have Zay Flowers, so it's really, yet to be seen what he will do or where he will play specifically, but I do think he can carve himself out a role if he continues to practice like that. And then you go to the defensive side of the football, and the one guy who, maybe this won't be a surprise to you, but the one guy who has looked good each and every single day of practice, Justin Madubuike, different breed, just a different breed. He came up with a sack today. Obviously, no contact, so it would have been a sack, right? If there was contact, there was a game, it would have been a sack for Justin Madubuike. Obviously, he's not going to touch Lamar Jackson, but did have a big play there. Had a nice swat down at the line of scrimmage as well. So he is someone that is really taking that next jump up, and they think this is going to be a future superstar on the interior of their defensive line. Not exactly a nose tackle, but a defensive tackle, at least, right? So he is someone they have so much high hopes for and looks really good. Lastly, another guy who stood out, Trent Simpson. Trent Simpson has that, sideline to sideline type of speed. Came up today, made some big time stops in the running game, but also can drop back into coverage, play that mid read, play that hook curl, or even get into the flats as well. I think that speed alone is something that shows, that dynamic versatility from Trent Simpson, but also a guy who can, plug the gaps in on runs and, fill that C or B gap as well. So I love Trent Simpson, especially if you use him in that double mug blitz type of look. I feel like he's got the speed, the quickness, of elusiveness to really get to the quarterback quickly. So big shout out to Trent Simpson. This man's going to be dynamic and had a big day of practice yesterday as well. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, join the family. Another practice coming through to you tomorrow. Be sure or be ready for that, and I'll see you guys then. Peace.